Hey everyone, this is Nick with Us vs. Hurt. Thanks so much for joining this stream. We do a new live stream every day at 3:30, or we post a new video every day at 3:30 p.m. If you're your first time here, please hit that subscribe button. Definitely was an interesting day today. We had pretty much we had a flat open, and we were down a little bit at open today. Actually, let me switch this up here. We were down a little bit at open today, and got some ads going on here. We were down a little bit at open today, and Dow closed down. Dow was up at one point. NASDAQ closed down 100. We had some interesting news today, about trade and all of that. I went short SPY. I went long Tesla. I went long Twitter, and I posted all my trades in our free options trading group. If you're not yet a member, there's a link below. Join it. It's free. Other members in there post trade ideas, post questions. If you're new, it's okay. If you're experienced, that's good too. There's a lot of people with a lot of different experience levels that are in the group. So definitely would love to see you in there. Today, what I want to talk about is options trading, lotto plays. What's up, crypto? If you're here, if you're watching the stream, say what's up, say where you're from. Definitely looking forward to getting to know all of you that watch this channel day in, day out. I definitely appreciate everyone here. Options trading. So options trading, you can make a lot of money, you can lose a lot of money, and the number one thing that I notice is people gambling. And you may not realize it, but you kind of get greed takes over. So I think one of the things with trading options is greed. You can make 100%, 200% fairly easily, and you think that's repeatable, and you think that like you're really smart. And sometimes sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you did have a great entry strategy, had a great exit strategy, and sometimes you just get lucky. Sometimes in the news you had a losing position, and then something in the news happened, and you come back out on top. But what lotto plays are, if you're not sure what lotto plays are, let's kind of go into these SPY calls here. So a lotto play would be, these are only 2 days out. I actually have a position on in here. A lotto play would be, let me make myself a little bit smaller so you can see these calls in here. A lotto play would be like, okay, I'm going to load up on these 296 or 295 calls down here on SPY. They cost 3 cents. I'll load up. I'll buy 300. I'll buy 10 of them, or I'll buy 100 of them, or whatever the case is. I'll buy 3 of them, and it could very well, like SPY, it could go to 295. However, in the money on the, let's see what it's saying here, probability in the money of those 295 is only 2%. Now I know that could change based on how it's going, but you only had a 2% chance of it getting in the money. Chances are that's not going to get in the money, and that's why these are so cheap. And a lot of people do is they'll load up on these, they'll pay $30, $100, and basically like use them as like lotto tickets. So I don't really see the benefit of that, because you're not really trading any strategy. You don't have a strategy. You're just hoping that you make some quick money and you make it big. But more times than not, if you do it over and over and over again, you lose $10, you lose $20, you lose $100, you lose $300, you lose $400. It adds up, and it really curbs your losses. Like, what a lot of people say is like, watch your commissions. It really eats in your profits. But what you really also need to pay attention to is the lotto plays. Like, be careful that you're not making trades just to make a trade. Like, don't put a trade on just to make a trade. If you miss an opportunity, there's always going to be another opportunity after that. It may be the same stock, it may be a completely different stock, but there's always going to be another opportunity. So a lotto play, basically you're buying these like cheap options here and hoping to turn 3 cents into like a dollar. Have some 5,000% winner. I mean, it does happen. Like, things do happen, but you already have to have a position on. And what's not a lotto play, like if you bought something that's closer in the money, like today I bought these 289.50 puts here at open. They went up 138%. I didn't buy it right at open. I bought it like, I think around 850 or something like that. They went up. I think I bought them for about 52 cents. They're now trading at like $1. Last was $1. So these are up 100%. Like you're more likely to make consistent gains that are repeatable gains if you're buying and selling calls and puts closer to in the money, because these have a greater chance of being a profit. And then for selling, selling calls and options, kind of the same thing. You're better not doing something for like a weekly duration, but doing something like 2 weeks out, a month out, and selling further out of the money, because your chance of being profitable is greater on that. So the times that I see people saying, well, I just want to see what happens, or I just want to see, well, we'll see what happens. Like, if you don't have a plan, that's not trading, that's called gambling. Like, if you don't have a plan, like if you really are convicted that SPY is going to reach 295 this week, then why don't you buy like the 290 calls here and then hold them to 295 if you're really that convinced, And the theory is most people just want to make a lot of money out of a little money, and options trading, you can do that, but more times than not, you're not going to be able to hit 1,000% home runs consistently. You're more likely to hit 100% 10 times than you are to hit 1,000% once. So just keep that in mind when you're buying far out of the money. Like a lot of people that I noticed that in our trading group, or just people that I meet that say, hey, I tried to buy some options once, it didn't go so well. I'm like, well, what were you buying? And they're like, yeah, we bought these calls far out of the money. They were cheap. I didn't have a lot of money in my account. And for people that have small accounts, what I would say is trade smaller stocks and start getting gains more consistently. Like right now, for a small account, you could probably make some money trading Snap. It's down 11%. Let's see here. These are for this week. You're gonna make smaller returns. Like today, these puts only made like 5%, but on a small. But these are only worth like 15 cents, 14 cents. 44 cents. When you have a small account, like don't think that you gotta buy like cheap, super cheap stuff out of the money. You pretty much probably just have to trade a smaller product like Snap or something like that. The one thing I do like, but if you were to day trade SPY, the one thing I like about SPY is they have three expirations per week. So there's a good chance that you're going to get a deal on some of these expirations. I mean, look at how many expirations they have here, and that's why I did these two, because I saw that there was a bit of a deal this morning on SPY actually. I put the trade on like 850, I believe. Let's see here. Had quite a few trades here. Yeah, 53. So my 53 cents, 289. I bought it at 8:54 a.m. I'm Central Time. So I bought it right in here. It was coming down a little bit, and the main reason why I bought this was to kind of hedge my portfolio going into the tariffs. I was long some Delta, so now my overall portfolio is short some Delta. I'm long Tesla and I'm long Twitter, so I wanted to get some short Deltas in there just to kind of protect me in the very short term. Is why I did it. Broil Med says, I'm guilty of that gambling mentality. Better off now, thanks to Nick. Hey man, that means a lot. Thanks a lot for watching. If you're here, definitely leave a question, ask questions, leave a comment. Definitely would love to hear from you. So I put that trade on around here mainly to hedge it, and then I honestly didn't think it was going to come down this far today. What I was actually hoping for was a gap down tomorrow and then a swing trade as well. I was looking for here. We've had some very rocky days here in SPY and Alibaba and all that kind of stuff. Very choppiness coming, ripping up, ripping down, ripping back up. Today there was a little bit of pushback today where we went straight down, and then but it never really recovered. It had a little bit of bounce back right in here, but really didn't do a whole lot. Just kept going down because of the news of the tariffs and all that. So when you're gambling, you got to be careful. Like don't gamble in the market, because these calls and puts. Like if you were to bought those 295 calls and it ripped down the day like it did, I mean, it's worth nothing. I mean, these lost 60% today. So if you bet big, and what I also notice is that people that gamble or put these lotto plays on, they do like $100, $200 at a time instead of like, if you're gonna do it, just do like one. But either way, it's not a good habit to be in because you're not going to be consistently profitable. Yes, you may hit it big once, and yes, I've had trades that did 2,000, 5,000%, but it's not because I was trying for it to do that. What I shoot for when doing these types of trades, let's say for SPY, let's say for instance Chipotle, which I've traded before, pretty profitably. Actually, let's go back into, and like Tesla as well was a good example. So Chipotle's had some, you have to be careful about trading Chipotle because it's not the most liquid options. However, there is a lot of action here for selling premium, and buying premium is a little bit expensive. So if you don't have that big of an account, it's going to be hard for you. But what their sickness is and their illness is, like, you've had some chances here. Not saying it's good for anyone to get sick at any restaurants or anything, but it creates an opportunity in the market where back here in June, if you were holding a position, this gap down, 40 points or so, but the trick is being early and having a position on before something like this happens. Tesla, same thing. They have a lot of things going on for them where they're ripping up and ripping down. But the key to this, the people that made the money here was because they already had a position on, not because they were gambling. They already had a position on. Like, yeah, sure, there were some people that were probably lotto playing this and got really lucky when it went from 300 to 390 in a couple days. There was probably that many people, but the thing is, once you have something rip up this much or have huge volatility, the market makers catch on. They start making premium super expensive, closer in the money and then far away from the money. I remember during this, like, the things above 400 for this week's expiration were costing over $100 or $1, per trade. Like it was ridiculous, and then they just sucked all that premium out, took all that money, and expired. All those expired worthless. So if you were lotto trading Tesla on their potential buyout, all those expired worthless. Anything above 390. I think we ended up here like 360 at the end of the week. Anything above 360, all those plays, all those calls expire worthless. And yeah, I know that the CEO of the company said, "Hey, we're gonna buy it out at 420." But you know what? That didn't happen. It was a lotto play. Nothing was secured, and that's kind of the example of gambling there. If you're concentrate on being more consistent with your wins than consistent gambling. Like don't try to just buy stuff far out of the money and hopefully it makes it big. Like, we could take a look at Tesla this week. I think their premium is a little expensive right now. Yeah, I mean, these 325s are 85 cents. We have these 310s. They're 240. It's the expected move up here is 16%. I think their IV right now is around 80%. So you gotta be careful trading some of these because a lot of these are meant to make you lose money. Like if you bought these 44 cents, most likely these 33,750 calls here, most likely not going to get close into the money in the next couple days. Some people say I could turn this 44 bucks into $6, but as you realize, as theta continues to eat the option, let's say for this week, it's not going to be a $6 option. It's going to be, when it gets close to the money near expiration, these are only going to be like $1.80. So you gotta be careful about that because there's a lot of things going against you when buying premium. I do a lot of selling premium in Tesla. IV's high, so I did sell a vertical put spread for next week that is out of the money. I think I'm up a couple bucks on it. Oliver says, gotta fill the IV pinata before you crack it open. Excited for Tilray IV Crush. Yeah, a lot of people are trading Tilray and all those. I think I've covered it before. Cron and all that. Which one of the things that I was saying in this, like people a lot of playing this. Like right now, it looks like it's kind of like stalled out here. I mean, it could go getting ready for its next leg up. It's hard to say because there's not enough data on this guy because it's only like a month old here. Tilray. what I was saying. So today it moved up 10%. Now this is the biggest. This is how, a good example of how IV and how gambling is. So these calls right here, Tilray went up 10%, but the calls only went up 100%. I mean, I guess this one went 200%, but you got to be careful because the bid and the ask is so wide here. So it takes on these weed stocks is taking a 10% move to go up 100%. So in my mind, for buying premium, there's way better examples, way better places in the market to make more than 100% easier than it would be in this. This right here is, in my opinion, is called a crowded trade. Everybody's in this right now, kind of like Bitcoin at 20,000. Like everybody's in this right now, and one day it's going to crack. You know, is it going to be tomorrow? I mean, who knows? But eventually, you know, what Oliver's saying, eventually the IV's going to get crushed, and these, like, what an IV crush will do to these guys out here, like out of the money right now, they're super rich. What an IV crush, these will go from like $5 down to $1, and the stock didn't move. And all those people lost money because they lotto played these. They spent $500, and overnight or in a couple of days, they're only worth $1 instead of $5. So you instantly lose $400. And as you can see here, selling premium has probably been pretty good, a lot easier for people because you're making 50% on these huge up moves or down moves. I mean, you're making 50%, which 50% is pretty much the target for when you're selling premium. So in my mind, buying premium here, way too much risk for your account, and selling premium is where you want to be on these weed stocks. Ahmed says, is it a good idea to average down on a strangle position? If so, what is that situation? For me, for a strangle, I don't really like averaging down per se, because when you have a strangle on, and it's basically if you're not winning on a strangle, it means either IV got crushed, the stock is staying the same, or you're in between your strikes. And what I usually prefer to do is put a new position on versus trying to make that one work out. My usual strategy is I'll leave the original strangle on, either put a new position on for a different expiration date, or have an offsetting trade on a different stock, kind of like what I did today. You know, since I was long on Tesla and Twitter, I went short on SPY. Is kind of how you can kind of pair your trades like that, is what I would be looking to do. If you don't believe in the strangle anymore, you know, close the position, take whatever you have left, and leave, and then do a new trade. I don't really like to average down on strangles because that means theta's eating it too much, and you most likely you're gonna lose again on you didn't see the trade right, if that's the case. Any other questions? I think I had to say what I had to say regarding lotto plays. Hope you guys got it. You know, tomorrow should definitely be interesting in the markets with the trade news. So, you know, there was supposed to be some trade news after the close today, and that seemed to not happen. So, you know, won't take up too much of your time. Thanks everyone that joined. Definitely appreciate you all. If it's your first time here, hit the subscribe button and push like for me on this video. It really helps me a lot. Thanks, guys.